Assalamualaikum and a very good day to my fellow lecturers. I'm Sharifah Nadra and today I'm going to present my proposal with the title Cadmium Exposure Effects on the Morphometric and Gravimetric Indices of Oreochromis niloticus. So this is the outline for the proposal presentation. And let's jump right into the introduction. Heavy metal can be defined as a type of inorganic chemical hazard with a density greater than 5 grams per centimeter cube. The usage of heavy metals could potentially pose a threat to the human health. So for the definition of cadmium, it can be defined as a naturally occurring metal situated between zinc and mercury in the periodic table. And according to the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, cadmium is the 7th most toxic heavy metal, and according to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, it is categorized under Group 1, which is carcinogenic to humans. And there are two sources of cadmium, which are natural source and anthropogenic source. So cadmium can cause both acute and chronic intoxications and can cause detrimental effects to a number of body systems of the human body. And the consumption of foods contaminated by cadmium can have a long-term adverse effects on the health of the organism. So for the purpose of this study, Oreochromis niloticus, or O niloticus for short, has been selected for the convenience of acquiring it, easy to maintain, and applicable for experimental tests. So for the literature review, the heavy metal contamination has become a concern that has impacted the environment worldwide due to the irreversible nature of heavy metals. And some of the sources of environmental pollution include industrial and agricultural activities. And humans can be exposed to such pollution through skin contact, dietary intake, respiration, and via food chain, which results in adverse health effects. And the natural biological indicators are used for the study in order to identify the positive or negative changes that occur in the environment, as well as to evaluate the environmental health. And the contamination of cadmium in the water body that involves fish should be given a detailed attention, as fish is a good source of protein for most living organisms, especially humans. And cadmium in fish can interfere with biochemical processes which can lead to health disorders or even in some cases, death. And the morphometric and gravimetric data are used as good indicators for the effects of pollution on an organism. The problem statement is, human activity has greatly affected the water resources worldwide as water quality problems have arisen, at which heavy metal contamination has become a global concern which results in millions of individuals suffer from chronic heavy metal pollution, resulting in the death of 1.6 million children. And heavy metal pollution has negatively impacted Malaysia as well, specifically Selangor River and its ecosystem, due to industrial activity and urbanization. And the transmission of man-made heavy metals to human can occur via food chain, due to the possibility of the accumulation of heavy metals in water. And heavy metals such as cadmium has the ability to accumulate in organisms and biomagnify in food chain due to its lipophilic nature. The research question is, what is the effect of cadmium exposure on the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O niloticus? And the hypothesis is, the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O niloticus are influenced by the cadmium exposure. The general objective is to study the effects of cadmium exposure on the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O niloticus. The specific objectives are to measure the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O niloticus in 4 different treatment groups. Second is to determine the effects of exposure time on the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O niloticus in 4 different treatment groups. And third one would be to compare the exposure time and different cadmium concentrations on the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O niloticus. So, the research justification is, the increase of heavy metal pollution has become a worldwide issue, at which cadmium has become a major ecological issue due to the ability to accumulate in living organisms, as well as it is an element of high toxicity to the living organisms. The consumption of fish can cause heavy metal entry into the body system, in which can cause detrimental health hazard effects. And the food chain needs to be monitored closely in order to protect the human health from the harmful effects. And heavy metal measurement in fish is very useful in identifying the potential health risks to humans associated with fish consumption. The methodology is, this is the research workflow for the study, at which 500 fishes will be read and divided into 4 different treatment groups for the span of 16 weeks. So there are 4 treatment groups, which are first, control group without the cadmium. Second is 0.005 milligrams per liter of cadmium solution. Third would be 0.010 milligrams per liter of cadmium solution. And fourth one would be 0.015 milligrams per liter of cadmium solution. So this is the diagram of O. niloticus, or commonly known as Nile tilapia. So these are the materials that will be used for the study. These are the apparatus that will be used for the purpose of the study. And these are the measuring tools that will be used for the purpose of measuring the length and weight of the fish sampled. So, the dilution method will be used for the preparation of 1000 milligrams of cadmium nitrate solution, and this is the formula. And for the aquarium preparation method, the tap water will be left overnight in 4 sets of aquariums in order to eliminate the chlorine content. And for the fish rearing method, 500 fishes will be reared in chlorine-free tap water filled for 2 to 3 days for adaptation purposes. And 125 fishes will be reared in 4 different groups with a stocking density of 10 to 20 kilograms per 1000 liter. And based on calculation, there will be 20 to 40 fishes per aquarium. And fish pellets will be given according to 6.5% of the fish body weight. And aquarium cleaning will be conducted for once in every 2 weeks. For the sampling method, 20 to 40 fishes will be sampled for every once in 4 weeks. And each fish will be dried first by using tissue before weighing and measuring process. And for the fish dissection method, each fish will be sampled and dissected in order to obtain the kidney, liver, gonad, and its scales to measure the parameters. And for the descriptive analysis, there are 2 main parameters that are used for the purpose of the study, which are morphometric index and also gravimetric index. So for the morphometric index, first would be scaling coefficient, or SC. It is to identify the difference in the fish population growth, at which B value will be identified from the linear graph and will be used to calculate the condition factor, which is known as K value, which is to determine the wellness of the fish population. And this is the formula according to Lecrae 1951. And the low value of K indicates that the wellness of the fish population is poor, and vice versa for the high K value. And for the gravimetric index, there will be 4 subparameters that will be measured in order to identify the changes in the weight of organs after cadmium exposure, which are first gonadosomatic index, second hepatosomatic index, third would be renosomatic index, and fourth would be gills to fish weight ratio according to Sadekar Pawar and Pare 2013. And there will be 3 statistical tests that are used for the identification of specific objectives, at which first would be descriptive analysis, second would be simple linear regression application, and the third one would be two-way ANOVA to identify the third specific objective. And for the Gantt chart, this is the research timeline at which I will be referring to in order to complete my research within the stipulated time. And as for the conclusion, there is a significant difference between the cadmium exposure and the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O. niloticus in 4 different treatment groups. Second would be the exposure time of cadmium influences the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O. niloticus in 4 different treatment groups. And third one would be there is a significant difference between the exposure time and different cadmium concentrations of the morphometric and gravimetric indices of O. niloticus. So these are the references that I use in order to obtain the information regarding the research that I'm working on. This is the 3rd slide, the 4th slide, and the last slide. And that is all from me. Thank you so much for lending your ears and have a nice day.